What's going on, guys? Today we'll be continuing the as promised Overwatch for Dummies series. Today we'll be going over the damage class, or the DPS category. Specifically, we're going to be going over the hitscan side of things. Now, to start, obviously I need to define what hitscan is. Hitscan is essentially, so you see where my crosshair is, right on that training bot's head? Whenever I press the trigger button, by default R2 on PlayStation, my bullet goes there and it deals damage. Whereas on a projectile hero, there would be a travel time, meaning that it would take a second for my damage to reach them. Which on projectile heroes is why you need to predict movement a little more. If my enemy is moving in this direction, as the projectile hero, I'd want to place my crosshair in front of them. But, so first of all, of course, we're going to be starting with defining the abilities and basic primary fires of each hitscan hero in order. Ash is the first hitscan hero. She can do an unscoped, by just pressing R2. She shoots a semi-automatic, really annoying, but really powerful, rifle. By pressing L2, you get to zoom in and start firing a lever action rifle that, you manually click. It has a small delay in between each time it can fire. Your L1 is coach gun. It knocks back your enemies as well as yourself, and you can use it for vertical mobility as well by pointing it at your feet and getting some extra mobility by jumping. Dynamite can be thrown on the ground, as so, and when it blows up, it deals a very large amount of damage over time and a bunch of initial explosion damage, so much that it can instantly kill this tracer by throwing it at her feet. You can also shoot it to make the detonation go off faster. Instantly kills tracers. Her ultimate is Bob. You summon this robot butler, and he comes in and he punches at the first enemy he hits, stops moving, and starts shooting everything. You can also wave to him and he'll say hi back, which is, in my opinion, the best part about Bob. Okay, so the second hitscan hero on our list is Bastion. Bastion's basic primary fire is just a fully automatic assault rifle. Best to be burst fired, because after a large amount of firing, you can see by my crosshair, the spread can get a little severe. If I just follow onto this wall, full auto onto this wall, unless I'm shooting a tank, a lot of those bullets wouldn't have connected. His secondary fire isn't even actually him shooting. If I were to take some damage as Bastion, I can show you this by going down here and letting the training bots shoot me. If I take damage as Bastion, I shouldn't have healed that. Why am I not taking damage? But as you can see, I've taken a small amount of damage. This is weird, I'm not taking any damage. But I can just heal it back up. It is limited. You can only heal, I think, up to 250 HP with it at any point in time. That's one of his abilities, actually, technically, but you use it by pressing L2, so it's basically a secondary fire. By pressing L1, you go into what's called sentry mode, and you become this minigun turret that is extremely hated by players below the rank of platinum, and the longer you fire, the tighter the spread gets. As you can see, when I start firing, the bullets kind of go wildly, but eventually it gets pretty centered, like the Negev from CSGO. By pressing triangle for my ultimate, I become a mobile tank that I can shoot people with. I can also rocket jump by jumping and shooting them with my feet. And I get a pretty decent amount of mobility for that. You can also time your heals in between shots as an animation cancel. But, yeah, that's pretty much Bastion. He's a very straightforward hero, and actually, one of my favorites. I forget you can stand on that. Now, all of these heroes are projectile, so our next hero that's hitscan is McCree. This will also be where I'm addressing a mechanic called fall off. Essentially, fall off is less damage due to range. Normally, when I'm doing full damage, 3 shots to the body kills, but as you saw, because I was so far away, the first kill took 4 shots. Just a very important mechanic to know on hitscan, and this changes through every hero. Certain heroes have a lot of fall off, and you have to be relatively close to the fall off to not do a bunch of damage, or for the fall off to not take a bunch of effect. And on certain heroes, they have none. Widowmaker, while scoped, has no fall off damage, but we'll get to that when we get to Widowmaker. McCree, his basic shoot's just a semi-automatic revolver. You can actually hold down the trigger, but I recommend against it because it makes aiming, in my experience with it, a little harder. His L2, or his secondary fire, he fires all of the remaining rounds in just a completely random pattern, but in my experience, by slightly pulling down, you can kind of control its recoil and make it a little more concentrated, but from longer ranges, you might as well not do it. His R1 is a flashbang that temporarily stuns the enemy and can be used to get a free headshot or a fan the hammer off, which is your secondary fire. His roll fully reloads his gun without him having to actually take the time to reload, and his ultimate is called Deadeye, and you essentially engage in a Western-style duel, so to speak, except after a second you lock on to all of the enemies, and when the skull is filled up, by shooting you will instantly kill them. The next hitscan hero is Reaper. He has shotguns, so as you can see here, I am basically not doing any damage to them, but he is hitscan. However, when I get closer, I can start doing very severe amounts of damage, again, because shotgun. Reaper has no secondary fire. By pressing L2, I do nothing. My R1 is a teleport. It has limited range. As you can see, it can only teleport so far away. And in certain cases, it can leave you very vulnerable and easy to kill, but they did recently change it so you're a lot harder to kill in the startup and finishing animation. My L1 is something called Wraith Form. So essentially, I've done some damage right and I need to get out, or you can use it as a reload, but it makes you temporarily invulnerable and boosts your movement speed. It also reloads your shotguns. Well, you don't actually reload them, as you see, you just kind of throw them on the ground, but essentially you get a new set of shotguns. His ultimate is called Death Blossom. You start shooting your shotguns while spinning rapidly, and it's pretty cool. Although it can be a very difficult ultimate to use because of its limited range and how predictable and easy it is to interrupt. The next hitscan on our list is Soldier 76. He's like essentially your more basic Call of Duty hero. If you've played other first-person shooters like Call of Duty, Battlefield, CSGO, I recommend Soldier 76 as your starting hero because he's a lot like Call of Duty heroes. He has a sprint. He has essentially a grenade, but it's actually a helix launcher. He has a fully automatic assault rifle. And he has a self-heal. It's a healing station that he drops on the ground, and it'll heal up to, I think, 300 HP. It can also heal your teammates. He's a very simple character, but I'm just going to build my ult real fast, and I'll be back when I have that. And we're back. One thing I would like to mention before I pop my ultimate is you can cancel it with healing station. If you put healing station down and instantly use your ultimate, it can cancel the animation of healing station. As you can see, he gets aimbot. It's really dumb, actually. You can also combo people, so if you launch your helix rocket to the side of them, you can force them to move in a very predictable pattern. The next hitscan hero on our list, Sombra. As you can see, hitscan. Very widespread from farther ranges, but at closer ranges you can do some pretty good DPS. Her secondary fire is Hack, which removes all enemy abilities. They can still shoot their basic basic and secondary fire. Her L1, or her first ability, is invisibility. It is permanent, but you can be detected, and I would recommend using your invisibility to get into a behind position, and then ambushing your enemies with hack. Her R1 throws out this thing called a translocator. It's a beacon that she can teleport to. So if I come over here with invisibility, I see that this training bot is here. I get the drop on him. I do some damage to his friend. I actually kill his friend, and then I can just get out. You can also destroy the translocator by pressing L3. Her ultimate is EMP. It's essentially her L2, her hack, in a big radius, except if a character has shields, it also removes those shields. And we'll go over shields again in a later episode, because most heroes don't have shields, but it is a very hard counter to certain heroes' ultimates, like Lucio, for example. But anyway, see, all of them get the hacked effect, and you can double hack someone to extend the time that they're hacked beyond normally capable values, which is pretty fun, but also very annoying if you're on the receiving end. And the final hit scan hero of this video, Widowmaker. Her basic primary fire is just, it's an SMG, fully automatic. Pretty simple. Her L2 is a scope. By scoping in, you become a sniper. And now, as you see, there's a power mechanic. By just shooting my enemy with a low-powered shot, I don't do very much damage. But if I let it power up, I can instantly kill them. Up to a 300 health damage. You do a maximum of 300 health. Or 300 damage, sorry, with a fully charged headshot onto an enemy. Fully charged body shot does 120 damage. Her L1 it's a grappling hook. It's got a 12-second cooldown, but it's pretty good mobility. And if you jump at the right time during it, you can make yourself go forward a little bit. Venom Mine is her R1. And as a sniper, if I'm sniping in this area, I recommend putting Venom Mine here. Because should an enemy walk across a Venom Mine, you get notified and you can see them through walls. So I can see, oh, I'm going to snipe this guy. And then my Venom Mine gets triggered, let's say. And I can see that it gets triggered and I can jiggle peek them and kill them. Her ultimate is literally just, it's wall hacks. You can see anyone on the enemy team through walls for up to, I think, 15 seconds. If you die, though, the wall hacks do get canceled. That's all of the hitscan heroes and their basic abilities. Let's go over the role of DPS and fall off damage. I'll come back to you when I'm ready to record that, which will probably be in a couple seconds. And we're back. So first of all, we're going to be addressing the role of a DPS or a damage hero. Of course, this is to output the damage for the team. They're not the ones absorbing the damage or healing up the team. They're supposed to be the ones killing the enemies, shooting at the bad guys, so to speak. An important mechanic for the hit scan side of things is, as I said earlier, fall off damage. Normally, McCree can kill in 2 headshots. But if I stand too far away, if I'm not close enough to my enemies, it'll take 3 headshots. Widowmaker is the only hit scan hero that does not suffer from fall off, but that's only when she is in her scope. Another, the best example of extreme fall off damage, excluding Reaper, but he has shotgun, so I don't really count that, is Soldier 76. You can still kill relatively fast, but also from this range, the spread gets a lot worse, so you have to tap fire. And just generally speaking, you do not want to be playing extremely far away as Soldier 76. You want to be probably within the, I'd say, 25 meter range. Anything more than that, and your damage per second is going to be reduced, and it's going to be a lot harder to aim. Because you have to burst fire, and so you're not going to be able to kill your enemies very fast. Positioning with the DPS, generally speaking, your tanks are going to be up here, and you're going to want to be just behind your tanks, but in front of your supports. Your job is to kill the enemies that the tanks are taking duels with, except in certain cases where you actually want to be flanking the enemies rather than just directly sitting behind your tanks. And on a lot of DPS heroes, Ashe, McCree, please ignore that voice crack, that was, whew. McCree, Soldier 76, they're also going to be very good at protecting the supports from the previously mentioned flanking enemies. With certain DPS, in particular Ashe and Widowmaker, you're actually going to want to play behind your supports because you're generally speaking more sniper-like, and your damage is more effective from range. It's not more effective, but it's effective and you're safer. And with a hero like Bastion is the best example of you need to play in a pretty much on an almost perfect line if your tanks are at the 10-meter line, or the 30-meter line in this case, and your supports are at the 10-meter line, you need to play on the 20-meter line. Your damage is still effective. You force the enemy tanks to not take duels with your tank, and you simultaneously protect the supports. But that's the basic roles and basics of every hero in the DPS category. Well, of hitscan. We're going to be doing projectile video on Tuesday. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave a like. If you really liked it, make sure to subscribe. If you didn't like it, obviously, you know, leave a dislike. Tell me why didn't you like it. I do read all of the comments that I get. Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow.